That's the reason teacher plays a vital role in preparing a class. So Montessori class preparation itself, she will know. She will have to do a lot of work on understanding, okay, this is the exercise that I'm going to be doing. My tray will have to be having a lot of exercises, or the shelf that I actually give it for my children should have all these essentialities. And teachers, remember, you can't keep changing the locations of the resources where you place. Okay, it's just like our kitchen. In case if I've decided this shelf is going to be for some of the spices, this shelf is going to be for my sugar and coffee and tea. It's going to be there for months together. And in some of the homes, we have not changed it for years together. It's all in their respective places. Even if you're not there at home, if you guide them, it's in the second shelf, the second box, the second this thing, somebody is going to take it. And we know it subconsciously, we know where we have kept it. So our resources should also be kept in such a way that the teachers will not remove and keep it tomorrow in a different place. Why? We're creating a lot of confusion. The child will start thinking, okay, this material was here yesterday, today I don't have it there. And the teacher knows about it, where she has actually kept. Maybe she should have hidden it, or maybe some other child kept it somewhere. So every child should know this is the position that we have to keep it over here. Day by day, weeks after weeks, months after months, everybody will get into that conscious learning. Okay, I have to keep it over here. This is where we have to store. And your life, your job becomes very, very simple. That was our motive. What Dr. Montessori also said, when children are capable of doing certain things, why as adults we neglect directing them to do that? You have to be just a facilitator wherein you give them an opportunity to explore and do things. When you tell them this is how you got to do it, they will do it in a nice way. So don't you think indirectly we are also disciplining the child? There's so many myths about Montessori education. People say that you're making young children to work. You're making them do all the household chores. In schools, you're making them to sweep and clean the tables, do a lot of work and other thing. Many of them, they actually have a lot of discussions on that. But don't you think that it is a skill for your life? If you have taught them right from the beginning, it's so easy for them to actually work. This is what, even in yesterday's of our discussions, we were talking about it. If a child was never given an opportunity to play outdoor, like to dig mud, or to even climb trees, they have not given that opportunity. And today's the same 3 year or a 4 year is so good in you know swiping through the screens. They know how to go onto any tab, open their favorite app. They're able to see all of that. But the same child, in case if you put them outdoor and if you ask them to climb a ladder, they find it so difficult, because it is not about the child does not know to do it. The child was never given an opportunity. Child was never exposed to outdoor. Okay, so whose fault it is? Is it the parents' fault or the child's fault, or the child is not doing it willingly? No, it is our fault, right? We did not give them the opportunity to actually explore all of that. And every people need movement. Children are also moving, only their fingers are moving. The eyes are also not moving, right? So they're getting restricted to so many things. All these things are very, very chaotic in anybody's life. So we need to be overcoming all of that. So writing plays a vital role in the fine motor development to support that physical activity. In case of the children are very active outdoors, it helps them to work on their writing, a lot of writing. So that's the reason you give them more on exercises where the child is using their hand movement, like stirring, squeezing, squishing, chopping, dicing, then cutting the papers into smaller pieces, crumbling the papers as much as possible, giving them a sand, sorry, not the sand, the clay, and asking them to roll the clay, asking them to pinch the clay into smaller pieces, then trying to make modeling. All of that need a lot of effort on their fingers. The more we do, the better the grip. The better they have the grip, the better they can hold the pencil, right? And they start writing. Now, again, the confidence will go low to a child if the spellings are not right. So it is just not about writing the same way. We need to also concentrate on spellings. So when we have this jolly phonics separate training for 5 days, we work a lot on giving spelling rules for your children. So what here we need to be working again here is, like, we collect laminated cards. You have a lot of words. Some words will be correct in the spellings. Some will be wrong in the spellings. Now I have to find out, is the spelling right or wrong. For example, in case if I'm taking the spelling of the bird, is this right? Bird. How do we introduce them to read this bird? Okay. Now, if I'm using phonetically bird, and the teacher says, okay, children, it is bird. I'm using dots and dashes. Dots, if I'm mentioning, it's one letter, one sound. If I'm using a dash, two letters making one sound. Okay. So this your child should know about it. So bird. Phonetically correct. Phonetically right. According to the spellings, it's also correct. Now, what if I say bird? Bird. 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 This is also right. Bird. So all these are right. So children can write to the closest phonetical way of writing, and everything seems to be right. As teachers, you can't say this is wrong. You could read it right. As long as we are able to read it when the child is around 4.5 years, it's absolutely correct. You start correcting the spellings only when the child is in UKG, or if the child has the ability to understand the rules of spellings, then is what you give them. So you can give them a lot of things, like these will all become tricky words. We say R controlled words when there are vowels before a letter R, and R controls the letter sound of it. It becomes mostly the trickier words. So we can actually learn it from the whole word approach, is what we can actually say to the children, and they have to be more cautious in learning the spelling in the rightful way. Okay. Now, the same word, if it's coming from a beautiful saying, I love the birds chirping, I can give multiple lines of the same word. Or I can write a short poem on the word bird. Or I can give them a riddle on the same word bird. Or a significant line from the same story. Now, I want to make sure the child becomes familiar with the spelling. So, all these efforts are put by our beautiful teachers. We're going to be using the same scripting knowledge again. It can be a riddle. I'm not saying use all. You can use one, multiple lines on the same word. So consciously the child is seeing the same word, bird, bird, bird. The bird can fly, the bird can sing, the bird can hop, the bird can eat, the bird can fly. See, continuously we are having the same noun repeatedly coming over. Now the child will start to understand. So you discuss with it, let the child take it, let the child take the card, read it, give it back, and then they would be able to understand on the spelling mistakes, whatever that they have actually done it. So spellings do play a lot of
Ma'am,
yes.
I have one doubt, ma'am.
Yes, Nivita.
Um, they are mentioning like tricky words. Tricky words are we are not read based upon the phonetical sound.
Hmm.
So how can we get to know which is tricky word and which is non-tricky word?
See, anything that can be phonetically decoded can be phonetic way. Okay. Phonetically decoded, even bird can be phonetically decoded, like and da. It can be phonetically given. But is the sound correct? Is the spelling correct? Do I have a rule for that particular thing? Then I apply the rule. Even if the rule is not applying, that becomes tricky. See, tricky is something that you tried best of your phonetic way. It is not working out. So you have to go back to your traditional way of whole word approach or the rote learning mechanism, wherein you will learn BIRD is bird, BIRD is bird, BIRD is word. That's all. And the child will start to remember it. So what as teacher you're going to say is like, see, some children, they learn it very quickly in the phonetic way itself, like b, and d. They recognize IR. They have a very great visual memory. So they would be able to understand it in that way. But for some children, it's very difficult. So the teachers, as teachers, you have to tell children, this is the spelling. This is what you can actually do it. Now say, suppose in case if I say bird is happy, or I can say she is happy. Now she becomes a tricky word. SHE. Right? So I don't say sh and eh.
Would
Yes.
would
Would.
would
Yes.
the down these
Correct.
words are have mentioned tricky words.
Yes. They can all be the tricky words, because why I say tricky words or why you can say tricky words is like when you say ow, down. The ow. Ow can be OW, ow can be OU. So that comes in your alternative spellings. Now, as a teacher, if you're able to tell the spelling of ow is OW, if your child learns it at one glance, you can say the own. But multiple times you taught your class is unable to do that. You say, okay, this becomes a tricky word, children. Let's learn it as DOWN is down. That's the least possible thing that you're going to be doing it. As far as possible, phonetically decode. Once the phonetical decode is done, still not able to do, apply spelling rules. Spelling rules are not working out, whole word approach, rote learning. Whatever you do a rote learning, that's a tricky word only. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes? Okay. Now again, few of them would also call sight words. Sight words will also be called as a high frequency word. See, whenever you're trying to work with sentences for children by now, it's not only the family words that we will have to be start giving. You need to also give the other words which is repeating with them. High frequency words. And these high frequency words, I can also call it as Dolch words. So they are the list of these high frequency words. Now, this is compiled by a person called Edward William Dolch. So what he did was like he took up the words which could make or which would repeat in any children's book for 50 to 70%. And he said, okay, only these words will be there in almost all the children's storybooks, which is very essential for their early reading. And he made a list of all such words. Now, when you download those Dolch lists, like maybe it will have around 220 words, or some of the Dolch words will have around 400 words, it's very simple for a child. See, every week, if you give even 40 words, start with 40 words like I, and, away, um, come, down, go, here, there, in, is, it. Then what else? My, me, she, he, where, you. Okay. If you're starting with those 40 words, you can start making simple sentences. I see a red ball. You can jump up, give sentences. So 40 words, maybe I can have 400 sentences. Now just imagine if I have 220 Dolch words for early reading, it is so good. And every 40 words that you're actually having, if you have good word walls in your classes, display them. And whenever your children are actually walking on the hallways or something, the children can actually read through it and go. And you can actually make this as a habit, reading competitions for children, and children whoever are struggling to even remember these words, just by visual memory, when they're actually looking, they can actually make it. And some of the teachers, they make it beautifully attractive also. They make all those monster faces and then they put the words. I've seen in some of the schools the teachers have put all the monster faces, the tongue out, and the words are like popping out from it. These are attractive for children, right? And they love to do that. And some of the children teachers would have made those crafts like a big monster thing, and then they have that roll on as if it's, throwing up all the words. And as and when that you start pulling, the words are actually coming up. Do something creative. See, at last, what happens is like the attention is something which is very essential for children. So they will love the idea every time that you're bringing it up. And effortlessly children are actually looking and they're trying to pretend, and then the teacher can say what's the next word which is popping out, or the monster is actually throwing out. Or you can also say feed the monster. You can take those sight words, you can feed the monster with all the sight words. See, everything is up to you, the way that you engage, the multisensory methods what you use, that's the key to your early literacy, right? So there are a lot of
Excuse me, ma'am.
worksheets. Yes,
Uh,
Purvi.
Ma'am, in Montessori, are we supposed to use all these colorful pictures or cartoons and all those things in the classroom, ma'am?
They usually don't use it. They usually don't
Okay.
use it.
Okay.
If you can actually use it, it becomes easier also. Yeah, it
Yes.
becomes easy
Yes.
for children. Otherwise,
Mhm.
it becomes very
Raw
routine.
for them. Yes. Of
Yeah,
course.
and they don't have anything for sight words, right? Apart from your pink, blue, and green series
Okay.
learnings, not many other picture cards are available. So you can
Got it.
always do that. You
No.
can actually divide them into stages. You can laminate the cards and you can keep it. See, it's all
Got it.
about your preparation. I don't think any Montessori schools will say no. They don't
Okay.
put
Okay.
anything on the walls, especially because that they say that's a distraction for a child.
Distract.
But you
Okay.
can prepare and you can have a folder and you can say this is a sight word folder. And whatever
Okay.
you're going to do it, you can say this is my flashcard. The way that
Oh,
you're producing the content, it's a flashcard. And you can
okay.
always do that.
So,
There are
we can.
different, yeah,
Sorry.
there are printables actually available. In case if you go
Okay.
to the Twinkle website,
Okay.
I'll just show you. So there's a website called Twinkle.
Okay.
Can everybody see? WINKL. Okay. So this is twinkle.co.in.
EW.
And there are a lot of, you can actually sign in for free. And if you want to download something, you can actually do that. So I used to use a lot of worksheets for my son when he was too young. Okay.
Okay.
When he was a preschooler, I had this membership. I'm still continuing that. So anything that you actually want for pre-primary, a lot of resources available. Okay. So you can download. Say suppose in case if you're teaching anything related to your digraph, C and K is making the K sound and you want to teach them the words. These are all the available ones you can download. The membership is $2.99 per month and downloadables are unlimited. If you want to
Okay.
download everything in 1 month, you could do that. I think
Okay.
there is a content restriction on that too. But whatever is required, wisely you can actually download. You don't have to work a lot. And again, coming down to the Montessori part of it, we do have, see if you see here, a bug. This is a phrase with a picture.
Got it.
And
Okay.
again,
Okay.
put on a cap, there's a period there. So the child understands, okay, I have to put a period here. And then the child will be able to work on it. And there are picture cards which is associated as a story, like, so we do have the story kind of cards over here. So you can also download, like, swim in the river, the sheep on the hill. Okay. So a lot of
Oh,
things
sure.
are available with Twinkle website. You can search wisely. Even Montessori resources, if you take, I think they have very less Montessori stuff. But yeah, let's see if they have anything. They usually
So,
very
proper
less.
Montessori resources from where we can take, ma'am? Like
There is
the
something
this
called
pink.
Montessori Print Shop. Okay.
Okay.
I'll just tell you that too.
Because here I'm very much confused. Whatever we introduce, they say it is not in Montessori. You cannot go
Correct,
in that
correct. Yes, yes.
way. So,
But this is quite expensive. Montessori
okay.
Print Shop. You have very few free downloads actually, and other things you'll have to purchase. So if you're really good with using your word and other thing, you can actually use it. Okay.
Oh,
These
okay.
are some of the materials that you can actually have it. Okay. And you always begin with your nomenclature cards. Then nomenclature cards, these are classified nomenclature cards again. It's going to tell you these are the classified cards of electrical appliances. Okay. So we do have this and it has all of it. And whatever are your material, no, for teaching the words and other things, we have something called as pink, blue, and green series. So if you
Yes.
see here,
Okay.
the pink series is all for your CVC words.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Got
So
it.
you get
Okay.
this entire material stuff. And if you're making it yourself, the sizes would differ and you will not have the boxes that will fit in. So they are all coming in the ready. Okay, ready-made materials, we actually have it. So our
Okay.
DN center has this pink, blue, the grammar boxes and other things. If somebody wants to just take a look at all these materials, you can walk into any time on the DN center, the Dodinekundi center. We have completely the language materials over there. You could actually see it. Now this will totally have it. Now, did you notice the color codes? So it becomes easy for a
Pink, blue.
child also to understand, okay, these are consonant blends, these are trickier words. Now, these boxes are basically for learning articles, or these boxes are for my prepositions. the child will definitely know because it's all color coded. The symbols are actually written. If you see the third box, wherein the circles and triangles are all mentioned over there, that is completely for your function of words. Parts of speech is what we would be introducing. So the materials are ready. So
Okay.
you don't have to make anything with this. And
Oh,
and these
that is a paid one, no, ma'am. This
it's all the paid. If you go
oh,
to any other like Kid Ken or Neen House Monastery, you
okay.
get a lot of and I Neen House Monastery. They have a lot of material.
Mean house. Oh,
Neen
what
House,
is mean
NINHOUS.
in
House
in
Monastery. So they are all the ones which gives you authentic monastery materials. Okay. And it is according to the age specific. Why I'm telling you Pune is because you stay in a particular location where I think they are practicing authentic monastery lessons, right? So it's going to be a pure
yes,
Montessori. So what you can
yes.
do here, if you go here for a
Okay.
3 to 6 years, what is required as per the AMI principles is what they list down.
Okay, okay,
For
ma'am.
your
Sure.
language also they have like what's required for my reading, what's required for my writing. For my reading, you always begin with sandpaper letters.
Got
Then
it.
I can
Okay,
have
okay,
my German cursive letter supplements. I can
okay.
have my again different ways of prints that I can actually have. So choosing from there, this is what I was telling about for the double consonants for 2 letters and how do I read. We have all these materials. Go through this.
Ma'am, these materials we need to if you want, we need to purchase. Is it, ma'am? These are all
Too
not pre-made.
expensive. All
It's too
these
expensive.
materials, they're too expensive. If you see, this is 166 pounds.
Yeah,
You want to,
that's what
yeah,
just see.
even a basic, I could say, not very premium quality material. If you want to do for an
Mhm.
elementary or a preschool setup, you at least need 7 to 9 lakhs or 7 to 10 lakhs for a basic setup
My
without
goodness.
storage. Okay, just for the material. And
Okay.
greenhouse is like very premium one. It is all made of pine wood and other things. Okay, so
Oh,
it's very difficult. See, again,
so
reading
just to get this
not
one is just
required.
to get ideas about
Just to
what
get an idea for you, like,
got
I need to have reading cards. You can make reading
okay,
cards yourself. You
got
need
it.
to have reading cards. So your school can actually have it. So as a teacher, you will know about it. Now, how
Okay.
does your reading card be? It has to be your vowels in blue color, your
And the
consonants
consonant
in
in
red
red.
color. If you're using smart board, why don't you use a template and make the same material and show it on the smart board to children? That is also possible.
Got it.
And
Okay.
whatever you are actually introducing, if you're working on the booklets part of it, your phonogram booklets has to be like this. Every word family, words will get into booklets.
Okay.
What
Okay.
other schools do, they do the booklets on their own. There are
Oh,
schools which will actually buy the booklets from the monastery supplier itself. From there, we get into cards. Okay. So instead
oh,
of booklets, I want all my names to be reflected on one card. So I have a phonogram card. So I might have at least like around 35 to 40 phonograms. I have to first list what are all my phonograms. Then I'm going to be using. And then I give the first book for my child. And then the child will start writing whatever that they want to write. So this is
oh,
for EEB family. I give it for every student. You can print the booklets and you can give them and they can actually write. So this will give you a good idea about what's required for reading, what's required for writing, what's required for sentence analysis, what's required for my grammar. All the basic materials will be listed over here. And for elementary, again, we have curriculum. Again, for 0 to 3, we do have a curriculum. But what our book follows is really good content because we follow an AMI guideline and it's absolutely good content what they have listed every exercises. If you see, the pictures are not given. That's the reason I have picked the pictures and I'm showing it to you so that it becomes easy for you also to understand how that material would actually look like.
got
You can
it.
always
Okay.
yeah.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah. All right,
Ma'am,
Secretary? Yes.
are you coming tomorrow?
Yes, I'm coming tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm coming tomorrow. Yesterday, we had a very good panel discussion on technology overtaking the outdoor play. Okay, so I think whenever it is live, I'm going to be sharing the video to all of you. It was a very good discussion on how the play is like, slowly losing its essence, and the gadgets are overtaking the children's free time, and what can be done, and how schools and educators can contribute to this. So that was a very good discussion on what we have. Just think over it, like, as a teacher, what else that you can support. We can't anyways remove the technology from our lives, because technology is going to be evolving. That's going to be there. But as teachers, like, how can you integrate the technology with whatever you have it, and how best that you can actually give it for your children to go outdoor and play, keeping the technology in mind. Okay, so that is the topic of discussion. Just think about it from your own perspective, and we can actually discuss it in the next class for 5 to 10 minutes. What is your idea? How can you take it further for your classes and for your children? Okay, so that's something that we can look into it. All right, so just to summarize on today's lesson, we started with writing. We did a quick revision of using the tools of chalkboards, sandpaper, letters, and mobile alphabets. We sorted and placed based upon the positions. Then getting into writing. From writing, we moved on to, can somebody tell me? From writing?
Ma'am,
Gram-
boundaries in
grammar.
No. We have not started.
Punctuations, ma'am.
Punctuation, ma'am.
Punctuation.
Punctuation mark.
Yeah,
punctuation.
all of that.
Punctuation.
Then
Also
writing.
sorting.
So writing
Comma.
on a paper was important. So we actually picked up. Okay, if you see writing on a paper, you have to first pick pictures from magazines, and those pictures should have words which are single syllabled. Okay, so single syllabled words which we have to take it out, and we have to use pencils, and you give them whatever kind of a sheet that is required, and you do all the 6 exercises. Okay, there are 6 exercises, right? First write single line, then a word, then a sentence.
Write and word,
phrase.
sentence,
Yes. So all
poem.
those 6 exercises you have to do. So in your mind also, it should register. When it is writing, I have to collect pictures. The pictures has to be single syllabled. Then I have to choose my pencils, whatever is appropriate for my child. And then I have to do 6 exercises. Keep that in your mind. Now you're very through to writing exercise. From there, remember as a story, I have to work on my upper and lower case. Now, when it is upper and lower cases, how many materials I need? 3 materials. The first one is for lowercase letters. Second material, uppercase letter. What is the size? You have to remember the size.
Double
It is
line.
8 into 10.
8 by 10.
So you have to draw boxes. You can't forget to draw boxes. A to Z, A to Z. And then the third box is 16 into 10.
16 by 10.
Double the size.
Uppercase, small
This
case.
you will write upper and the lower cases. Right side of your book itself, if you can mark, it becomes easy for you to recollect what is the material that you actually read, because your book doesn't give you any material. Now you show uppercase, lowercase, upper and the lowercase, and associate. And tell the children the
And does it
vocabulary.
have a 4-line,
No, we are not writing.
the uppercase, lowercase?
We are not
Ah,
writing.
okay.
You're only showing the children
Okay.
the first part of it. The second part is what
Okay.
you're going to be telling the children in your exercise to write. You're giving the lines, and then maybe you can actually give it. Then comes capital letters. Then comes period. Then comes comma and question mark. When to use capital. So what you would do? You would do your set A, set B, and set C. You're going to be using 3 sets. Set A is for capital letter and full stop. You have to know that. Set B is for comma. Set C is for question mark. So 3 sets. So all the duplicate copies, you should actually have it. Fine. And then
Ma'am,
move to
the duplicate copy should also carry the color coding, no, ma'am? That vowels and consonants the same.
Yeah. Same.
Okay.
Okay. Here we will not use the color codes. It will be all in black, because
Oh,
you're
all-
highlighting only the capital letter in red color.
Okay.
Full
Okay.
stop in red color, comma in red color, question mark in red color, because only these needs to be highlighted in a different color.
Okay.
Only
Okay.
motive
Okay.
is only for that. The others will not be color coded.
So this one happens after the child is thorough with the sandpaper letters from A to Z.
Correct.
They should thoroughly know how to read it. Then we'll
How
be
to read,
introducing the
how to write on the lines. They should have
All
got
the-
introduced to paper. everything. They should know to write a word. They should know to write a sentence, because till that time, even if a
Okay.
child was jumbling capital and small letter, as teachers, we did not bother.
Okay. Got
And
it.
many of the schools have never introduced capital letter. They might introduce now.
Then-
They would have
okay.
started only with the lower cases. Now
Got
they are
it.
learning when to use it. That's the reason you actually give them this duplicate set of cards in set A, B, and C.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. From there,
Okay.
you move to something very interesting. One of my favorite, transcriptions. So, what all you will have in transcriptions? Lines, poems, sayings, riddles,
Riddles.
yeah, words from any familiar song, lines from a particular story. You can actually have all of that. Laminate those cards, and you will give papers for the children to read and write. From there, you go to spellings. See, it's connecting like a story now. Children can actually make mistakes. Then you get on to spellings. And whatever is a spelling which is difficult for your child, you can have multiple sentences based on that. Okay, that covers our first 6 exercises for today. Okay, so we will be meeting again the next week. So if there is a possibility, try to do these duplicate cards, and you can pick any one of the exercises for your reference and you can submit it. Okay, the presentation has to be
What,
on
ma'am?
any exercise you can take from today's 6 exercises, and you can do a demo and you can show it to us. Okay, all right.
Ma'am,
So you will
ma'am,
have
today-
time till Tuesday.
Today's video also, can you post
I'll
it in
send
the
it.
group?
I'll send it across.
And one sample paper of this sample letters, what you have shown, told, ma'am. Any one sample paper or any picture card of this A, small uppercase and lowercase letters, what you have.
I'll give you.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I can give you that. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Take care. See you
Thanks a
all.
lot.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Ma'am.